other people here. Hello.
I don't know how any of this stuff works.
Oh,
I don't know how any of this stuff works. I don't know how any of this stuff works. I don't know how any of this stuff works.
Somebody tell
I
me.
don't know how any of this stuff works.
Somebody tell
I
me.
don't know how any of this stuff works.
Somebody tell
I
me.
don't know how any of this stuff works.
Somebody tell
I
me.
don't know how any of this stuff works.
Somebody
I
tell me.
don't know how any of this stuff works.
Somebody
I
tell me.
don't know how any of this stuff works.
Somebody
I
tell
don't
me.
know how any of this stuff works.
Somebody
I
tell me.
don't know how any of this stuff works.
Somebody
I
tell me.
don't know how any of this stuff works.
Somebody
I
tell me.
don't know how any of this stuff works.
Somebody
I
tell me.
don't know how any of this stuff works.
Somebody
I
tell me.
don't know how any of this stuff works.
Somebody
I
tell me.
don't know how any of this stuff works.
Somebody
I
tell me.
don't know how any of this stuff works.
Somebody
I
tell me.
don't know how any of this stuff works.
Somebody
I
tell me.
don't know how any of this stuff works.
Somebody
I
tell me.
don't know how any of this stuff works.
Somebody
I
tell me.
don't know how any of this stuff works.
Somebody
I
tell me.
don't know how any of this stuff works.
Somebody
I
tell me.
don't know how any of this stuff works.
Somebody
I
tell me.
don't know how any of this stuff works.
Somebody
I
tell me.
don't know how any of this stuff works.
Somebody
I
tell me.
don't know how any of this stuff works.
Somebody
I
tell me.
don't know how any of this stuff works.
Somebody
I
tell me.
don't know how any of this stuff works.
Hello, people, if indeed you are there. So, what am I doing? I had an idea. I thought to myself, so I've been working a lot on WebForms applications recently because people asked me to do it and offered me money. And so I felt compelled to say yes. And these are big, complicated applications. All the WebForms applications that are out there are big, complicated applications, and you just go, I wish I could rewrite this in .NET 5 or ASP.NET Core or whatever. But you can't, because these are huge applications and you can't just take the things down and rewrite them and not do anything else for months on end. And I was reading a blog post that somebody wrote, can't remember who, about the YARP thing that Microsoft have published, the yet another reverse proxy. And I thought, what if you got your nice new, because it's a reverse proxy and it just sits in an ASP.NET Core application, and it does proxies, but it's an ASP.NET Core application. So I thought, what if you put the reverse proxy as the last endpoint in an ASP.NET Core MVC application, for example, and pointed it at your WebForms application, and when a request comes in for default.aspx or whatever, it just goes through to the WebForms application and that sends things back and it does all that. And then one page at a time, you can rewrite the application. You can say, okay, I'm going to take like the shopping cart page or the front page, the home page, the landing, whatever it is, and just rewrite that in ASP.NET Core or a new technology. And this would actually work, even if you had a Rails application or a PHP application, you could still do the same thing. You just stick this reverse proxy in front of it and rewrite it one page at a time. And so that's what I'm going to try. I asked on Twitter, and Jeff Fritz suggested this Wingtip Toys thing. So that's what I've got here. So I'm just going to try running this and see what happens. So that's loading up like that. Very slowly. Okay, so we've got this Wingtip toy. Oh wow, that is that is completely brilliant. Okay, so I'm going to spin up a .NET 5 MVC application, and I'm going to see what happens with that. So we'll come out of here, and we're going to, what shall I call this? I'm going to call it facade. So I'm going to make the facade, and then we'll cd into there, and do .NET new SLN, and that will just use the directory. Oh, I'm on preview something. Okay, I'm going to show you a cool trick that I learned recently, or came up with recently. I don't want to be using a preview thing. I like to use stable things when I'm mucking about with this sort of stuff. So let's just open this page up in code like that. I'm just going to drag this down here. Global JSON. So in here, I could specify a particular version of the SDK that I want to use, but I just want to say use the latest version. So if I save that like that, and then go back to my PowerShell prompt, I get .NET 5.0.1. And I'm talking to myself again. Or I seem to be. So then I'm just, now I'm on 50101. So I'm going to say .NET new MVC, and we can stick that into an src / facade folder like that. And then I'm going to add that into the solution. .NET SLN add src / facade, and then I'm going to open this up using Rider. So if I use Visual Studio for the old thing and Rider for the new thing, that will help me to keep my head straight and know what I'm doing. That'll be good. So let's drag Rider down here. Okay. So what is this YARP proxy? Yet another reverse proxy. So So that's here, and YARP is built on .NET using infrastructure from ASP.NET and .NET Core. Easily customized and tweaked via .NET code to match the specific needs of each deployment scenario or mad developers who are hacking it to upgrade their web forms applications, hopefully. Okay, getting started guide. Create a new web. No, I want an MVC one. Oh, that's a shame. They haven't stuck with the YARP name for the NuGet package. Okay, so we'll go to here, and for dependencies, we'll manage NuGet packages, and we'll look for Microsoft.reverse. There we go. Pre-release. Never mind. I'm sure every enterprise in the world is going to be quite happy sticking pre-release NuGet packages into their pipeline. Certainly all the ones I've spoken to are definitely up for that kind of thing. Okay, you can go away now. Right, so, and then what do? So we update our startup, and then we do services.add reverse proxy like that. Copying and pasting from documentation. It's how the world was built. And then in endpoints, we want endpoints.map reverse proxy. So we can put that in here. Map reverse proxy. Excellent. So that's cool. And I want that. So I want that after my map controller route, because if this works, then mapping the controllers is going to, if you hit something that's a controller in the MVC application, then in theory, it should pick it up and serve that page instead. And that's what we want. That's where the fun's going to happen. So let's give that a try. So we will jump in here. There was some configuration. We need something in configuration. Here we go. So we've got this reverse proxy stuff here. So we'll just copy that in as well. And we'll go to our app settings.development.json and paste that in there. Oh, that's invalid. There we go. And this looks like where we put the address of our application. So let's go to here. So this is going to be localhost 24019. So we go to here, and we can just change that and then delete that page out like that. Okay. Now, theoretically now, if I run this, have I got anything else I need to do? No, that's it. So if I go out to here and do .NET run, no, cd into there and do .NET run. Okay. And then we go back to our browser here, and we go to local host 5001 HTTPS code. Okay, that's pretty cool. Well, that's worked so far. Okay, so that's going through to the default.aspx from the other page. So if I, how can I test whether this is finding the controller? So we've got home controller and privacy. Okay, let's try going to privacy. No. Home/privacy. No. Why? And that's coming through from, that's proxying back my error. Why is it proxying that through? Why is that not working? Home. There is no index C, I'll give you that. Okay, this may be failing just before it started. What if I put in often find this works better if you, and generally with my ASP.NET Core applications, I like putting explicit roots on everything. I like using the HTTP GET attribute and going, no, this is the address of this page. Don't faff about trying to construct it from controller names and everything. I hate that. So let's try this now. We'll go to privacy, and nope, that's still not coming through there. I'm not restarting this, am I? Let's do .NET watch run, so it picks up changes. And we'll go back to here and we'll do a refresh. Hey, excellent. Okay, so if I want to override just the home page, you can do that. You can use an empty root and do HTTP GET. I can't type, so if I do HTTP GET with an empty string and then come back to here and do that, now I get my facade homepage. So now I just need to make my facade homepage look like the ASP.NET WebForms homepage. Let's have a go at doing that. Okay, so we've got Wingtip Toys here, and we've got the site master page there. Go away, diagnostic tools. I do not need you at the moment. So yes, I have had a bit of an explore around here, and it's using Bootstrap. What version of Bootstrap is this using? Bootstrap.css. It's using Bootstrap. Bootstrap original 3. Bootstrap 3. Okay, so if I copy, where's my bundle? So we've got Bootstrap and site.css. Okay, so I'm going to open this in File Explorer, and if we grab Bootstrap and site, and then we can go to ASP.NET Facade and SRC and Facade and root. CSS. Oh, we've already got a site in there. Let's call that. Let's change that old dash site, and then we can paste these in here. And go back to our thing. And so what we want in ASP.NET Core MVC is we want our shared view. That's our basic layout thing there. And so we're going to go, why are the explorers being so big? I don't understand. Right, so we've got a style sheet here, and we can just get rid of this and this. See what that does to the page. Oh, look, that's messed that up. That's because this is using Bootstrap 4. What are we on with Bootstrap now? Is it Bootstrap 5? I don't know. But yes, they completely changed the way the top bar works with that. So what we need to do, let's have a look. Where were we? Site master. Right, so here we've got how you did a navbar header in Bootstrap 3. And here we've got how you did thing here. So we've got header and then, okay. So if we go to nav, if we replace everything from nav with this, copy that, and we can just bring that in here and replace that and save that. Aha! Excellent. That's actually, I'm surprised that worked. This isn't good. That's going to need something interesting. So yeah, the thing that's going to be fun with this, and the thing that is going to involve some hacking, is that there are there are a couple of things, to the technical side of the web application that we're going to need. Say hello to Ceiling Cat, by the way. I really cannot get used to this sort of stuff. Also, check the hair. This is going soon. My wife has basically said your hair is going. Ramesses, hi. What I'm trying to achieve is, so for people who've missed this, the idea here is I've been working a lot on WebForms applications, and they're big, complicated, they do a lot of stuff, and the idea of just going, hey, I'm just going to rewrite this, I'm going to down tools, we're not doing anything else, we're going to rewrite this WebForms application using Razor or Blazor, or doing it as React pages and that sort of thing. There's just no way that businesses can justify doing that. And I was reading about reverse proxy, YARP, Microsoft's reverse proxy implementation, which is just, it sits in an ASP.NET Core application. And I thought, well, if I stuck that as the end point in an ASP.NET Core application, then I should be able to intercept and so say call one of my routes default.aspx or something and replace a page at a time. And so basically, rather than going, we're going to rewrite the entire application, you can go, okay, so the next task I have on my list involves working on this page, and it won't take, it's probably more straightforward to replace this page. So the idea is that you replace a page at a time, going through your application and update it, and eventually becomes an ASP.NET Core application or a Blazor application. I don't know if this is going to work with Blazor. I have not even done .NET New Blazor yet. I just haven't. It's not a thing that I have tried. I will, and I don't have anything against it, but it just hasn't actually come up yet. Okay. So this obviously over here is because there's some ASP code sitting in my what have we got here? Oh, we got an ASP login view. I don't know what that is. So I'm just going to comment that out like that. And then if we go back to here, there we go, that's gone away now. Right, and now theoretically, if I go to about, that still proxies me through. But if I go back to, so this is my ASP.NET Core application. This is my Wingtip Toys proxied application. This is good. This is good. I like this. Okay. So what can we do next? I'm going to copy this stuff through here. So where is this coming from? So let's go back to here. We've got this div ID title content. I'm going to copy this across, and we're going to go back to rider, and then this is going to go into our index page, is it? I don't know. How does this work? Okay, so contact has all that. These are all in every page. Okay, so we're going to stick that into our layout.cs. So let's paste this in here. And then this is quite weird because this is doing a run at server. So we can take run at server out, and then we can change this to just be an image. Make that lowercase. Element image doesn't thing, and this becomes href, and this becomes, wow, ASP WebForms really did just do everything itself, didn't it? Let's get rid of that, and we'll put alt equals Wingtip Toys logo. What else don't you have? What are you complaining about now? The doesn't have oh, it's source, not href. Okay, src. And of course we need our images. So we're going to go to here and we'll add don't know how I excluded that. So let's add a directory and we'll call it images. And then we can jump back over. Let's open Wingtip Toys in a new window. Go into here, images, there's the logo. And then we can paste that back into here, and we'll put logo in there. And our facade. And yep, we've got our logos gone in there. Excellent. And then we just want those links to come across as well. So what have we got here? Okay, this is a list view, and we've got, okay. So where is that actually coming from? See, this is where I'm kind of going, oh no, item.models.category. What are we doing here? Is this? Okay, so that's what it's doing. Where do things that run as, does SiteMaster have a CS behind it? Yes, it does. There we go. And so we've got a page load and page preload, pre-render, shopping cart actions, get categories. So we've got db.categories in there. What is that? So this is entity framework, isn't it? This is entity framework. Okay. So I need to be pulling those through. How am I going to do that? I'm just going to I'm going to install Entity Framework 4, Entity Framework Core even. And there wasn't an Entity Framework. No, hang on. They skipped 2 and 3 and went straight to 4, didn't they? That's what happened there. Okay, so let's framework, and it is a SQL Server database. So I'm going to add that in here like this. So yeah, this is using a SQL Server database. Let's just stop this for a moment. And in Server Explorer here, there we go. So we've got a Wingtip Toys database, and this has got, so this is just a local DB database. If you go and get Wingtip Toys from GitHub and try and work with it, the databases that it comes with, this MDF, these 2 MDF files, they're actually from SQL Server Local DB 2012, I think, or 24. Anyway, version 11, whatever that was. And when you double click them, you get a message saying, hey, you need to update this to a new version. Double click the file and then nothing happens. And so I had to go into here and go into the modify connection. And then if you go into an advanced, you get the data source here, and where it says local DB there, this bit, that said, I think v11.0, and I changed that to local DB, and then it was fine, and that was all good. So I'm going to copy that and theoretically go back to my facade application and let's create another directory, and we'll call it data. How do you do database first in Entity Framework? I don't know. And we will add a new class, and we'll call this Wingtip Toys context. And that's going to inherit from DB context like that. And we'll create a public class category. And then up here we'll have a public DB set of categories. And then let's jump back over to Wingtip Toys and find our models. We've got category here. And so this looks like it was using code first anyway. So we'll copy that, and we can just paste that into there like that. Import missing references in file, and then let's just create a product class to make that work like that. Okay, and then in our view here, we in a shared layout, we can use @inject now in views in ASP.NET Core, which is pretty cool. So I'm going to inject facade dot data dot Wingtip Toys context like that. Where does that go though? I can't remember where that goes. This is brilliant. Mark's forgotten ASP.NET Core MVC. How are we doing with that? Okay. Razor inject. Dependency injection into views. ASP.NET Core. Inject. Oh, give it a name. DB context. And no semicolons because you don't have that. Okay. So then where they had that chunk of stuff there, we are going to have, let's go over here and we'll just jump back into our site.master. And we can just say div ID equals category links. And then we can say at for each var category in db context dot categories dot we can just say a href equals something. Just put a hash in there for now. At category dot name. Okay, and then jump back to startup, and we need to add our add DB context pool, like so, and Wingtip Toys context. Builder to like that. Builder dot use SQL Server, and then I think that just takes the connection string. Do we have? Yep, we've got a connection string. So we go back to Wingtip Toys and our Server Explorer, and we go to this, and we modify the connection and go to Advanced and do this. Jump back to here, and we're just going to hard code this because we are bad. We are bad, bad people. Okay. Okay. This is still happily. Add DB context was called with configuration, but the context type Wingtip Toys context only declares a parameterless constructor. This means that the configuration pass. Oh yes, that. So let's go back to our Wingtip Toys context. And create parameter. There we go. That's built and that's running. And let's go back to here, and we need to run Wingtip Toys again. Hey Dennis at home, the stream is going. Things are happening. People are watching. It's a good start. I'm super happy. Thanks for all the follows, everyone. So that's now gone to default for some reason. If I don't go to default, that's not coming. That says copyright 2021 Wingtip Toys. But that's, I think that's coming straight. I need to put something into my layout, because I wonder it. Let's do this Wingtip Toys 2 in there, and then we can be sure where we're getting. Okay, so HTTPS localhost 5001. The entity type product requires a primary key to be defined. Oh, for goodness sake. Right, I'm going to end up dragging through the entire thing. We'll actually have finished this by the time we get to the end there. So this has a category, so I can just copy all this. Consistent formatting. 2 spaces. Interesting. Okay, so let's go to here, and we will just dump this in. That apparently does exist in Entity Framework Core. I haven't used Entity Framework Core very much. So let's go back to here. Yay, look at that. We've actually got the links have come. So I've got connected to the database. I have successfully connected to the database, and those are just kind of in the wrong place. But apart from being in the wrong place, they look great. How do they format them in the WebForms application? Okay, so we've got a we've got an ID category menu and a text align center, and then this stuff here. I'm going to shift this off to another window quickly, so you can just trust me that what I'm doing here is copying and rewriting as we go. So we've got down here, we've got our title content and our logo there. So then we're just going to have div ID equals category menu, just in case that is styled anywhere. Actually, no, that was already there, wasn't it? So we div ID is category menu, and style, because it's web forms, so of course the styles are inline, so the text align is going to be center. So that looks good. And then for each category in db context.categories, and we want to put a pipe in between them because there's an item separator. So we need bool first equal at bool first equals false. And then down here we can say at if not first. And then we can put NBSP pipe. Why is that? Complaining about my things there. I'm going to put a span around this. Else first equals false. And of course we want to set it to true up here. Okay, so if I go to default, that will get me the back end thing. So they look slightly different, but they're pretty much the same. I mean, I'm not going to waste a lot of time streaming just trying to get CSS perfect, because I am a coder and not a web designer, but that's looking pretty good. So now, how were they creating the actual links? Get root URL products by category root. So I'm looking inside Wingtip Toys again here, and products by category root. Find all of those. It's only, oh, there we go. So it's category/category name, and the physical file is productlist.aspx. Okay, that's interesting. But basically category/category name. So back in here, this can just become does that work? Yes. Yes, it does. Awesome. Okay. So that's really nice. I'm actually quite happy with this. This is going to work. This is going to be my NDC. This is going to be my talk that I'm doing throughout the course of this year. So the fun thing that we've got to do here with all of this is, so if I go into cars, for example, and I've got a convertible car here, and I've got this cart link up at the top, and I'm going to say add to cart. Now what that's done, because this is an ASP.NET WebForms application, it's stuck that cart into session in the ASP.NET WebForms application, and this is the fun bit. This is where I'm looking at actually kind of solving a problem with this. There are things that are internal to the ASP.NET WebForms application. Session is one of them, and the other is authentication, because there's an admin link, so you can log in here. I don't want to log in with any of those, and I can use a local account to log in. I assume there's probably a default login that would let me log in as an administrator. But yes, so these two things that are handled inside the ASP.NET WebForms application session, which is where the shopping cart lives, so that's kind of important, and authentication. And I don't know how it's authenticating or what it's got in there. And we want those to pass through to the ASP.NET Core MVC application seamlessly. So if I move, say, the products page, and I filter that down to boats, and I do add to cart. Now, if this add to cart action, which is going to add to cart.aspx/product ID equals 10, if that becomes add to cart in my application, in my ASP.NET Core MVC application, it needs to do the same thing, and I'm guessing that that's something to do with session. We can actually find out, can't we? So let's... I do love ASP.NET WebForms applications where everything is an ASPX page and it's all just right there in the root, because it has to be. So add to cart on page load. So we've got a shopping cart actions users shopping cart is new shopping cart actions. And then that's doing add to cart and converting to an int 16. Why is it converting to an int 16? And then it's just turning it straight back into an int 32 anyway. Why? Why are you doing that? This is like a demo ASP.NET WebForms application. And having been working on ASP.NET WebForms applications for a while, there are things in there where you're just kind of, why are you doing that thing? You've copied and pasted that and you don't understand what you're doing. And this is a demo application, and they're doing inexplicable things. But yeah, so this is going to the cart. It's creating a new cart item, and it's adding it to the shopping cart. Oh no, it is putting it into the database. Oh no, here we go. So we get a cart ID, and we've got a cart session key, which is coming from somewhere. So that's getting us the cart ID like that. See, what I want to do, basically, is to be able to say, to find some way of creating an endpoint in the WebForms application that's like an API, so that the Core MVC application, we can put a session provider in there, and when it tries to get something out of session, it just pings quickly over to the back-end application and says, hey, here are all this user's cookies. Here's their session cookies and everything else. Can you give me this value from the session? Or can I set a value in that session for you? And so they will both be saving the same session, it's the easiest way of doing it. And alternative ways of doing it is kind of going, okay, so what is the ASP.NET Core? What is the WebForms application? This is going to get really confusing. What is the WebForms application using to handle its session. And if it's a well-written web forms application that's running on a web farm with multiple instances, then it's going to be using SQL Server or possibly Redis. It'll be using something. It'll offline the storage. But for an awful lot, and I mean an awful lot of web forms applications, they run as a single instance. And if they have a failover, is their kind of disaster recovery. If the thing crashes, it fails over to a cold system, and everybody loses their session because everybody just uses in-proc for their session. This obviously this is in dev mode, and so this is going to be using, there we go, default session provider in-proc, and that means it's just sitting in the memory of that server, and although that has got a connection string name in there, so I don't know, but anyway, it says in proc. If you are deploying to a cloud environment that has multiple web server instances, you should change session state mode from in proc to custom. In addition, change the connection string name default connection to connect to an instance of SQL Server instead of to SQL Server Express. Okie dokie. So yeah, I just want to sort of pile straight through and say, you know what, let's just dump that into session there. And so we store the cart ID goes into session, and then we talk directly to the shopping cart, which is built into the database. What we need in here is something that will let us yank that back through, something that returns JSON. How can we do that? Anybody who's kind of currently working with web forms or old ASP.NET, what's the best way to create a sort of naked endpoint that just returns JSON or binary? Because people put weird things into session, stuff that doesn't really serialize very well. Is it an HTTP handler? I think it's an HTTP handler. How do I create an HTTP handler? HTTP handler. ASP.NET. Info world, how to work with HTTP handler. There we go. Create HTTP handlers. To create an HTTP handler, you must implement the HTTP handler interface, the HTTP one method and one property with the following signatures. If session state is required in your HTTP handler, you also need to implement the requires session state interface. That's very helpful of them. Microsoft documentation is really good. I mean, I remember sort of the MSDN. I mean, I'm actually old enough that I remember what's an ASHX? Is that a fancy way of doing a handler? Pay attention to the chat mark. You're streaming is a web page that is part of an ASP.NET web server application. It contains references to other pages hosted on the web server that are sent to them, processed by the servers. No, okay. I'm going to try and do it as a handler. The other thing about doing it as a handler, so what I really want to do, if I can, is to get this bundled up into NuGet packages. And so you can have a NuGet package that you stick into your old .NET 4 application, and another NuGet package that you stick into your core application, and then you just a little bit of configuration with like an API key or something that passes it back through, and it's nice and easy to wrap up an HTTP handler and ship it in your code there. So if I go down to here, and I'm going to create a folder and let's call it facade. We'll stick that in here, And we'll put a class and session API handler. Cool. That was weird. You actually got to see the resharper live template as that went in there. Okay, so we need to implement iHTTP async handler. Do we want that? No, I don't think we do, because it's just in session, isn't it? And implement the missing members there. And we want I requires session state like that as well, which that doesn't have any members. I think that's just a signal to the runtime that it needs session state, rather than sticking an attribute on it, I guess. Okay, fine. So we'll do that there. Right. So then here we'll say if context.request path. Is that just a string? Yeah. We don't want case sensitivity, so we'll say I'm typing Razor code now, so we can say if string.equals context.request.path let's call it facade slash session slash like that, and we'll just pass the value that we want across as a query string, because that's nice and easy to work with, and we can pull that across. And actually we'll just put a return in there and say return, so we skip out if it's not going to do that for me. And then we can just go, so context.request.query string name value collection, do key. So that's our key there, which is a string. And then we can say if context.session is context.session key. If value is null, can we do that? Yeah. Then we're going to do context.response.status code equals 404. We don't have that. And context.response. Is it close? Is it just close? I don't know. Let's assume so. Right. Otherwise, we need to serialize this. How are we going to serialize it? We can use binary formatter. But so there's an issue with using binary formatter, because there's a very real chance that they're going to completely stop supporting it in .NET 5 base 64. So turn it into, but I've still got to turn it into binary in order to convert it to base 64. But yeah, how can we do that? Message pack. So this is my favorite message pack implementation. This is this guy's everything is my favorite implementation of it. So this, I think, where are we? Typeless. Yes, it does. The typeless API is similar to binary formatter. No types need to be specified explicitly. Type information is represented by the message pack ext format. Dynamic or untyped. Contract list standard resolver dot option. Okay, that looks like what I want. When calling message. Okay, let's try sticking message pack in here. Manage NuGet packages. Browse. Message pack. That's the one. Install that. Yep. Oh, it doesn't support. What does it support then? Go away. Net standard version. Okay, so we're just going to open this up and we'll change the target framework. That'll be fine. So it's on 4. Let's change it to 4.7.2. What's the worst that could happen? How much did ASP.NET WebForms change from 4.5 to 4.7.2? So where were we? Let's go back to here. Manage NuGet packages. Message pack. Install. So yeah, first requirement, you need to update your ASP.NET Core, your ASP.NET WebForms application to .NET 4.7.2. Or I need to see if I can persuade Alexander that he needs to do something else with it. So then I can say var bytes equals message pack serializer dot serialize and how does this work here? Model and contract list standard resolver dot options. So value and contract list standard resolver dot options. There we go. And then we can just say context dot response dot write dot binary write bytes. Yep, that works. And context dot response dot status code equals 200, and context dot response dot close. That, I think that works. Okay, if I run it, and we'll go to localhost 5001. So what is the session key that it was using? Add to cart. That thing there. Cart session key is the cart ID. Okay. So I'll go back to here and go to cars. System.object is defined what? In an assembly that is not referenced. You must add a reference to assembly net standard. Why? Why is this happening now? Search Google for that. Project is targeting add net standard reference in web.config like this. Okay. I can change that. So HTTP runtime is 4.7.2 as well. See if that makes any difference. Oh, they took so long to start up, it's just ridiculous. Where's that thing gone? Find the Stack Overflow answer so you can copy and paste from the Stack Overflow answer, because that's what we have to do. That's how this works. Try add net standard reference in web.config like this. So it's this assembly section here that has to go into that compilation bit in web.config. Let's try that. And we're loading and we're loading and we're loading. Has anybody had this happen with these things? Now what are you doing? Now it's just hanging on me. Oh dear. Was there a version of Message Pack? So let's go back. If we go to 2.0 dependencies, Nope, still net standard 2.1. If we go back to 1.9, that's supported .NET Framework 4.5. Cannot drop database. Why are you trying to drop the database? Because it is currently in use. Well, don't do that then. That sounds really dangerous. Just stop. What's telling you to drop a database? Okay. Let us go back to here and we'll manage our NuGet packages again. And we're going to want to install that. And then we're going to go back to our NuGet page here. NuGet /packages. Let's just do this and go to message pack. Oh, NuGet search. If I have to spell things right, we're never going to get on. Version history. Right, 1.9.11 supports .NET Framework 4.5 and net standard 2.0. So I can use that on both sides if necessary. So we're going to support 1.9.11 and we'll install that. Okay, accept. And then we can go back to our web.config and we can change this back to 4.5 and we can just take that out. And we can change this back to 4.5 as well. This is much better because people are much more likely to use this sort of thing if they are allowed to keep their old shonky versions of the .NET framework. So that works like that. And then my session API handler. So there is no contract list dot instance. That looks like that works now. I need to add this to web.config as well, don't I? So web.config, where do handlers go? Is it here? Do we have a HTTP handlers? And then we can say add name I had this open. HTTP handler ASP.NET. How to register HTTP handlers. The following responds to requests for the sample handler.new resource. The handler is defined as the okay. So if we go through to here and we can say verb equals all of them, path equals facade session, and type is session API handler. So that should do that. Right, let's try running this again. See if I have unbalked it. Yeah, no, you shouldn't be doing that anymore because I've taken it out. So why have you still got that? Let's... got any binding redirects have been set up in here? Where's my packages.config? Oh, there's a bunch of stuff in there. Why is it still asking for net standard? What's gone in that it wants? What happens if I clean it? And rebuild it. And run it again. No, it is still complaining at me. Why is it doing this? I got rid of that. Oh wait, target framework .NET 4.5. Yeah, let's change that back to that. Some NuGet packages were installed using a different, so packages affected. Yeah, okay, we've knackered that basically. So if I go into packages.config, require reinstallation. So what does that do? If we just do manage NuGet packages, message pack, uninstall though. Yeah, okay, go away. Do you actually have to do, is this how you solve doing this, downgrading your framework version? This is insane. Right. And so now we have in packages.config, message pack is targeting net 4.5. I'm just going to yank these out because I think they were pulled in by message pack because they would be 4.5 otherwise, wouldn't they? They all say require reinstallation. Oh no, hang on, that one doesn't say require reinstallation, but it's going to. Okay, and we can do something really nasty. And we can go to here and jump into ASP.NET Wingtip Toys, CD into there, open this up in code, and edit the wingtip toys.cs proj. and /472. That's web.config. That's why it's not in there. Wingtiptoys.csproj. So if we look for 472 in here, and take these things out, let's take that out. And we can take that out. This is why it was still complaining about having net standard stuff in there, wasn't it? Runtime serialization primitives. Nope, you can go as well. Don't like you, don't like you, don't like you. Go away. Everybody go away. Net45, net45, net40. Nothing, nothing, nothing. Net45, net45. That's okay, that's okay. Net45, net45. One of the nice things about sort of the new SDK stuff and working with ASP.NET Core is you feel a lot more comfortable spelunking through CSproj files than you used to. You go in and you vandalize them, and you go back to your packages.config, which is up here somewhere, and you take out your message pack and message pack.annotations like that. And BCL. So that, no, we're going to get rid of you as well. So all the stuff that requires reinstallation is gone. And then you just jump back over to here and Visual Studio freaks out and goes, oh no, you've edited the project outside of the thing. What are you going to do? And you get rid of it like that. And then you go to references here and you go to manage NuGet packages. And now you've got a proper ASP.NET application. And you change this to 1.9.11 and you install it, and it's going to drag these in, and it's going to drag the right versions of those in. And then we can clean this. Actually, we can jump back to here and we can say nuke from orbit, which will get rid of those two things. Yep. And then we can jump back to here and we can build this. And we've still got errors. So where is my CSproj file? See, why have you brought in net standard? Like that. So let's go here, Wingtip Toys, packages. Packages config. Thank you very much to the three people who've stuck around with me while I've been doing this. This is absolutely driving me completely insane. So these all say net45, that says net45, that says net45. So this, do we have system.buffers in here? No. So this should be gone. And so should that. I'll just look for net standard. System.value tuple can go away. So we've got no more references to net standard in there now. So we can jump back over here. We can do reload. And rebuild. And it works. And now if we run it, and we are going to get the page up. Come on, put the page up. Yay, there we go. And we can go to cars and we can say add to cart. Okay, and then we should, what did I call it? Where's my packages.conf, not my packages.config, it's in web.config, isn't it? Let's close everything except this. It's got Elmer included in it for some reason. That's okay. System.web HTTP handlers, facade session, and if we pass through the key, so if we go to facade session question mark key equals cart ID. And that has not been found. Where is my session handler here? Okay, so that's just not getting picked up. Oh, do I need to put it in web server as well? Precondition equals integrated mode. Okay, let's put it in here as well. So we got handlers add name equals facade session, path equals facade session, type equals session API handler, like that. And it's in Wingtip Toys, like so. That's also in Wingtip Toys over there. Yes, I would like to stop debugging now, and then we can start debugging again. And you don't like that. For some reason that is wrong. Why is that wrong? Go and look down here. Oh, verb. I probably need verb, don't I? Verb is all of them. Yep, okay, go on then. And we're running, and we're running. I haven't actually done that very much, have I? That's quite good. That's obviously me being good and healthy and all that sort of stuff. Okay, so if we now go to facade session key equals cart ID. Oh, look at that. It has actually come through to here. I got my path wrong. Just carry on and we'll switch that across. Let's do this again. Request path is /facade session. Okay, so run this again. I'm adding something to the cart every time, by the way, because I'm assuming that it's not going to have a cart ID in the session unless the user has already added something to the cart. So we're sticking that across in there. So I'm going to go to here, add this to the cart, and then we'll go to facade session key equals cart ID. And then we can step debug through our handler value. So we've got a GUID out of there. That's created some bytes. I can write them across and I can do that. For some reason it's coming through again 3 times. Why is it doing this? Okay, I am not dealing with this correctly, am I? Binary write. Oh, do you think I need to flush? This is going to be a flush thing, isn't it? Context dot response flush. Sadly, you have to stop this and then rerun it. Hello. Hello, wife.
Hello, husband.
How's it going?
Good. How's it going?
Okay, it's, you know, things break, but it's fun because it's a live and it's a stream, and it's not like a presentation where when I do my presentation and something doesn't work, it's kind of like, why isn't that working? You obviously haven't tested this. I can make a complete mess of things, and it's all part of the fun. I'm enjoying myself anyway. Is everybody else enjoying themselves? Am I just background noise for everything now? So let's go to facade session keys cart ID. There we go. Look, it's come through. Yes. Right. Okay. That's working. And we're an hour and a half into this. That's not bad. So I'm going to stop now, and I'm going to do another stream. Probably on Thursday. I will need to check, but I will stick it on the schedule and I will tweet about it. So if you are not following me on Twitter, you can follow me at Mark Rendell on Twitter to see when the next stream is coming up, and I'll just add it to my schedule as well. So yeah, I think this went okay, and I deeply love the 2 people who stuck with me right until the very end. You're awesome. So yeah. I will do this again probably same time on Thursday, and we'll see if we can get this. Yes, no, close does not do a flush. I think I might be making an extension method on response that just does all those things. Just, hey, here you go, here's some bytes, write them, set the thing to OK, and everything else. But yeah, no, this has been fun, and I think it's gone all right, and I've enjoyed it, and we will pick this up and write the ASP.NET Core MVC side of this session thing in the next stream. All right, thanks very much for joining me, and I will see you next time. Thank you.